Richard behind the bed. So Daddy loves Shalem, but Daddy really loves it when Shalem is asleep. So I've adjourned to the basement so as not to wake you up. All right. So this is part 2 of Who You Are, where I'm going to give you just my own personal experience. And in giving you that, my hope is that ultimately I get you to ask one question in every situation. The question is why? I want to inspire in you this desire to question everything. Trust no one's word. Don't even trust your own emotional leanings and desires. Always ask yourself why. Why did you say that? Why do they do this? Ask yourself why. Always ask yourself why in everything. And that's my hope, is that as I share personal things with you, and as I share anything with you, you will constantly ask, well, Daddy, why? Why did you say that? Or why did that happen? Because that asking of why then makes you start going beneath the surface. Because my goal in these videos is I'm just going to scratch the surface of things. My hope is that you will then at different points in times come and ask me why, and we can go deeper into the subject. We can try and delve into, well, why was this? Well, why did this happen? And I'm not always going to have the answer, but it gets you to start thinking like that, and that is my ultimate desire. Now, on this topic of who you are, for years, as you know, my name is James. In the Bible, James has the same meaning as Jacob. And for years, I would hear ministers and preachers talk about Jacob. The biblical definition of the name Jacob, and therefore James, is supplanter. And so for years, people would always minister that Jacob, his name means supplanter, means trickster, means deceiver. So I used to always struggle with, well, maybe that's who I am. And I would start to see where my personality kind of could line up with that, where I could, be tricky or deceptive. And it would really mess with my thinking, and it started to affect, well, how I saw myself. Then as I became an adult, I started to think, well, why is that? And I was like, you know what, let me see for myself what it says. So, I ended up going to the Strong's Bible Concordance, looking up Jacob and reading it and seeing Jacob said supplanter. And I was like, well, what does supplanter means? Because that doesn't sound like a good term. But supplanter means, to supplant just means to replace. So someone who replaces someone else. There was nothing in there written about being tricking or about deceiving or about any of those things. So I was like, why do people keep saying this? The reason they keep saying it is because of what they saw when they read in the Bible about Jacob and the things that he did. So they immediately just took the things that he did, his behaviors, and they put that into the definition of the word supplanter. And that's not what's written in there. Just because he chose to do certain things in his life did not have to define who he was. And so it really made me start to think, no, that's not what it says. That's what people have come to think it means because of what they saw him do. But we know that, hey, those behaviors were not, they were not good behaviors. They were not what he was supposed to do. Yes, he was meant to replace Esau, but that's it. He was meant to supplant Esau as being the heir, the one who would get the blessing from Abraham. From Isaac. I say Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. So the point being is that I had to make a decision as to how I was going to define myself. I couldn't let other people's words, other people's definitions define me. I had to make a decision on how am I going to define me. Am I going to let what somebody else says define me, or am I going to define me? And my desire and my hope is that you will do the same thing in your life. Even though, as I was telling you what your name means, that it means to be complete. But my hope and desire is that you will go beyond that. That you will begin to choose, well, how do I want how do I want to define myself? Who am I? Who do I want to be? So often I hear people say, oh, especially young ladies, oh, I need to take time out and find, discover myself. God bless you, with all due respect to my younger sisters and even some of the older ones. You don't have to go find out. You just have to decide, who do you want to be? You decide, who do you want to be. Maybe it might take some time to figure out who you want to be. But once you decide who you want to be that. It doesn't mean you're going to get it right every time, but that's all right. Nobody does. But you make a choice. This is what I want to be. This is the type of person I want to be. This is the type of individual, how I want to live my life. This is the person I aspire to be. Be that. Choose who you want to be, and then set your sights on it. Set that as your vision, and then be that. One of scriptures that I hear quoted all the time from the Bible is that people without a vision perish. If you have there's nothing you're looking towards in your life, then you just tend to go wherever, the way the times lead you. Wherever the culture just goes, you go that way too. When you have no goal, no vision, nothing before you that you want to accomplish. And the saddest thing of all is I can't stand when I hear people misquote this particular scripture where it says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And they stop there. And we often talk, oh, we don't learn. True, it's a lot of people don't like to open up a book. But the thing that always sticks out is that if you just keep reading that particular verse, it says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge because they have rejected knowledge. The fact is, if you don't decide and make a choice of who you are, who you want to be in your life, it will be made for you. The world will tell you things about yourself. The world will lie to you about who you are, what you can and cannot do, what you can and cannot accomplish in your life. It will set limits for you. But if you set your limits, then you can make those limits as far off as you want to, as high as you want to. But you get to make those choices. So to bring this to a close, the bottom line is this, is that you get to decide who you are. Let nothing and no one tell you who you are. You're going to be, a lot of things is going to be said to you in your life. My job, I feel, is to prepare you for the things you're going to face when you go out into the world. And some of those things are not going to be nice things. Things you're going to get called names, maybe. There's a good chance you're going to get called all kind of names. But always remember, you define you. Nobody else can define you. No words they say to you can define you. Only you can define you. So as you're getting older, you come to me and say, oh, some of my friends, called me this and I got angry. I'm going to look at you like, well, is that you? No. What's your problem? If you don't like what they called you, that's not you. Then you go about your business. You don't need to hang around them. Move on with your life. What's your goal? Who are you? Where are you going? Well, then go there. If they're not helping you, if they're not working with you, if they're not encouraging you, go about your business. So don't stand there in it and complain and get angry and then want to fight. Well, why? Who are you? If that's not you, then stop behaving like they have some control over you. So I